Have you ever manifested something? If so, you understand the true power that we have within us to manifest anything that we could ever desire. Welcome to my channel, Goddess Gaya. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel and check out my other content. So let's start with the question, why do we manifest anything? We manifest because there are desires that we have. And if you have ever encountered Eastern philosophy or Buddhist philosophy, it teaches that desire is what creates suffering. Desire is an inherent quality of the ego, and the ego is literally a bottomless pit for desire. When it gets something, it just wants more and more and more of it. That's why when we are successful with manifestation, it doesn't satisfy our hunger for desires. The process of manifestation itself is one that's really tedious and really hard to complete, I would say. Like, it's really hard to understand when we're done doing the processes of manifestation. If we really study what the law of attraction is and set our hearts to accomplishing a desire coming into our life, we understand that putting effort into manifestation is actually the opposite of what we need to do. It brings us farther from what we actually want. So what works is surrender. And this is a contradiction because on one hand, the manifestation techniques that we use are making us want it more and more and putting our complete focus onto the techniques that we're using. For example, there's the 555 method, there's the 369 method, there's all these methods, and there's plenty of meditation techniques. Both Abraham Hicks and Neville Goddard talk about meditating, imagining something, visualizing something. All of these have to get us to a point of surrender. And yet it's hard to understand what point that actually is. So let me tell you something. It's actually a contradiction because on one hand we want something and on the other hand we shouldn't want it, right? That's what these techniques teach us. This is what trips up the ego. And that's actually what we're looking for, because when we trip up the ego, we let the divine come in and intervene into the process of that desire coming to us. So basically that paradox is an opening for divine intervention. And yet it is that letting go part that is the hardest for people. Alright, we want something really, really badly. Okay, sure, I can do the 555 method where I write 55 sentences of what I want for 5 days straight. And yeah, I'd love thinking about what I want and visualizing it and just focusing completely on, yes, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. But the letting go is where a lot of us just get blocked. And let me tell you, it is because our ego is getting in the way. We basically have to be completely okay with having it or not having it. So we have to say, oh, I'm fine with or without it. I literally don't care. And how could that be? As I said, how can we just not want something that we're asking for, right? We think that the universe or the divine is just gonna think that we don't want it anymore. The ego needs everything to make sense, and it needs a clear path to get to where it needs to be, which is the desire being ours. So in order to clear this path, the ego ruminates, and this is like what our mental processes are basically about. We have to think about how will it come, when will it come, who will bring it to me, what will the situation I will be in be like. There's so many questions to answer about how it will arrive, and that really trips up the ego because it is so caught up in that fear of, oh my god, if there's so many obstacles, how could it ever come? How could my desire ever manifest? These are all actually fears. I'm afraid that manifestation doesn't actually work. I'm afraid it'll never arrive. I'm afraid I'll be at the wrong situation at the wrong time. All of these fears create resistance for that manifestation coming. And these are like spiritual things, right? It's not something that our ego can figure out. That's why we're asking for divine intervention. Please, divine, please, universe, can you allow this thing to come to me? Because I have not figured out how to get it to myself. This is actually why I really started respecting people who could manifest something really, really well, because that means they completely have let go of it. Like, they do not care if they have it. They literally don't need it. Need is also a form of resistance, right? I had started thinking it was just to fulfill the ego, because the ego wants so many things, and the law of attraction is a way to get those things. And that's why at one point I was very, very skeptical about the law of attraction, because I said, sure, I'll get something, and then I will want more of it. I will want more people to love me. I'll want more good things to happen, more experiences, just more of everything good, right? And yet this contradicted my understanding of Eastern philosophy, which teaches that the more we want, the more we suffer. So how can we even desire something and eliminate suffering? How is that even possible? And I'm gonna answer that right now. A manifestation arrives when the ego is completely tripped up, we have completely given up, let go, and just don't care whether it comes or not. Literally, that's when it shows up in our life. Have you ever noticed that? It is so freaking annoying. Then when it comes, it's like, I just said I don't need it. Why did it even arrive, right? And when it comes is when it bloats the ego, because it tells the ego, look, everything that you did was correct. Come on, just do it all over again, and then you'll get that new other thing that you have started desiring. But the real teaching is to give up completely. If we completely surrender, yes, things will come easily to us. But then why do we even need to desire if they're easily coming? Desire is what's blocking them all along. As long as we can surrender, everything we need will come to us. And then there is the differentiation between need and want. Need is something that our body needs. We understand that, right? Food, shelter, water, community, friends, love. We need all those things. Wants are things that we don't necessarily need. We can do fine without them, like shiny cars, beautiful clothes, exciting experiences, just all these things. We don't necessarily need those things. But let me tell you, what we want is something that's separate from God's plan for us.
God's plan. God's plan.
Beyond the physiological needs of our bodies and our lives, there are our soul's divine needs, which will already naturally flow to us, because I promise you, the universe knows what your soul needs in order to complete its purpose and its journey in this lifetime. For example, if a social entrepreneur has started a business that is really benefiting his home country, why am I saying his? Their home country, then the universe will understand, while it will already have planned out for them, that they will find discounts for plane tickets, or they'll be part of a great flying program that will allow them to visit nearby countries or worldwide countries so that their purpose is fulfilled. And this only happens if we are following our purpose and our intuition and going along the path of love. You can check out my videos about what love really is. I'll put one right here. We also learn when we give up something, as part of many manifestation techniques already, is that we have to act as if and feel as if it is already part of our life. Feeling the complete and whole pleasure of it already being ours. That really teaches us that this feeling is within us all along. We never needed that thing. If ever we want to feel fulfilled, completely full of love, completely trusting the universe, we don't need any item to show us that. We have that within us already. that's when we completely let go, because that is another part of the resistance that blocks our desire from coming. When we distrust the universe, whether it really loves us or not. Because if it loved us, then it would give what we want immediately. No, it doesn't work like that. That's what divine timing is, right? We just trust and allow the desire to manifest when it's the time for us to have it. So ultimately, manifestation does allow us to reconnect with God or the divine. It's a method that comes into our lives when we have such a craving for that divine love, but our ego keeps getting in the way. That's because the ego has so many desires that it wants fulfilled, and then we somehow stumble upon the law of attraction to bring these desires and like soothe the ego, because it can be so troublesome to our mind. Of course, a faster way could be, pursuing Eastern philosophy, pursuing meditation or Zen. Even Zen koans, they trip up the mind. That's what they're meant for, to introduce contradiction to where thought processes are just eliminated. One of the most famous Zen koans I'm gonna read is, 2 hands clap and there's a sound. What is the sound of 1 hand? 2 hands make that sound, and then 1 hand you're like, what do I do with this? And then you start questioning, what is a clap? And then you start questioning, what is sound? And then you're just like questioning and questioning. And that is the way to contradict our thinking and just realize, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just peace all along. Because why does it matter? Why do I care, like, what sound it makes? It contradicts our thinking and brings it to a halt. So I encourage you to continue pursuing the law of attraction journey if it resonates with you. And it's because it really allows you to be a seeker and pursue the truth. Remember to read alternative spiritual texts to supplement your manifestation practice, and question why you even have this desire or multiple desires that you have. And I'll leave you with this takeaway, that ultimately reunion with the divine is about surrender. So no matter if we have to go the roundabout way of law of attraction, learning that we can get what we want, and then learning that it's a contradiction, and then learning that you have to completely let go, that's when it arrives, and then it arrives, and then you're like, I didn't even need it, right? The whole time it's all about teaching you surrender, and that is the real teaching of the law of attraction. I hope you liked this video. Please check out my other stuff. I love making videos. I'm going to try to be more consistent now. I know every YouTuber says that. Please like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel and press the ring button, the bell button. I don't know. I'm not used to saying this. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.